Okay, this should be real quick. This is an example of a works cited page my face-to-face class helped us put together. And you'll notice if you go from top to bottom, in the upper right-hand corner is a student's last name, space, and the number 1. This is 1/2 of an inch below the top margin. And the way that you put in page numbers in Word is to go to Insert and then Page Number, and then you type in your last name and a space, and you hit enter, and then it's going to paginate your entire document. But one other thing you want to do that's important, if you'll notice, this works cited is entirely, right, every letter of every entry, that's all Times Roman 12-point font, which is what it has to be for MLA style. And so you don't want your page number to be in Calibri. You can actually in Word just reset as default Times New Roman, and it might make your life better and easier in the future. I don't know, but I don't think a lot of people enjoy trying to read Calibri 10, whether it's on a sheet of paper or on a screen. It's not nice. Anyway, so Times Roman 12-point, and so you just cover it over like that, and you'll select over here in Word Times New Roman 12-point font, and it'll make everything the same. Okay, works cited was placed in the center by using center justification in Word. And then what we did for our classes, we had several class members just come up to our computer, on our class computer, and each one of them typed in their own entry that would go to their paper, and that's why they're all different subject areas. Anyway, so our first one is agriculture teacher. So this is, as you can see, that's a job ad. Okay, so what you do is you just type in the title of the job, put that in quotation marks. Period goes inside of quotation marks, always. Space, and then job ad, period. Because you use periods in MLA style to separate the elements in the citation. And then the employer was Elk Grove Unified. Actually, it's probably Elk Grove Unified School District, and that should have been spelled out, but there you go. Period, space, and then this job ad was found on monster.com, so that goes next, and then space, and then this date, 1 January 2017, that is the date that the job ad was placed onto Monster, so that's what goes there. And then following that, if you like, date of publication, is, as you can see, this is the URL that goes there. Okay, and then the last entry is the access date, access 19 June 2017. Okay, so we've looked at a job ad. Let's look at a school program for getting one's degree or credential. This, the page at Fresno State, the page where this information was discovered, was titled Early Childhood Education Credential Option. So that is what we're putting in quotation marks because it's a page title. It's like an article title, okay? Period, close quotation mark, space. And then up in the left-hand corner of the screen, we saw that this is the entity that offers that option. It's the Teaching Credential Program, Kremen School of Education and Human Development. Period. Okay, so it's the Kremen School, and the Kremen School is part of the Fresno State University campus. Okay, so that's a program located there, so that comes next. And you'll notice that in every case, when you're making a works cited page, the thing that comes first, if you have an author's name, we don't for these, of course, but if you have an author's name, that always comes first. And when you don't have an author's name, the thing that comes second is going to be the container that you're looking at, right? The particular article, almost always, right? The particular article, and that's something you'll put in quotation marks because it's a piece of something. And the item that comes next is the container that sits in. That sits in the Teaching Credential Program, right? And then what comes after that is the bigger container that the credential program sits in, which is Fresno State University. Okay, so that's all the containers that we have for this entry. And then next is the last updated date for the web page, which is November 16th, 2016. And then we have, then we have the URL, www, blah, 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 HTML, and the access date, June 18th, right, 2017. So that is how you're going to put your paper together. You'll also notice, very importantly, agriculture, anthropology, business, that these entries are in alphabetical order. You'll notice that the entire page is double-spaced. There's no more space between one entry and the next than there is between the first line of an entry and the second line of an entry. So you double-space the whole document with no extra spaces in between. And lastly, do you want to know how we did this? The first line of an entry always has to stick into the margin, right? So there's a 1-inch margin here, and the first piece of punctuation or word goes clear to the left margin. And you'll notice that the second lines and beyond, those are indented 1/2 of an inch. And this is accomplished in Word just by, I would just cover the whole document, and then I would go up to the ruler bar, do View over here, kind of in the middle at the top, View, and then there's going to be a box to check that says ruler, and it's going to give you a regular ruler across here, 6.5 inches, minus the 1-inch margin over there and the 1-inch margin over there. And there's going to be like an hourglass right here. And you just take the bottom half of the hourglass and you just scoot it over 1/2 inch. And then your whole document will be formatted correctly. Okay, done with the Works Cited page.